So guys, welcome back to another video on Forza Horizon 4. Today is car update day, as I'm sure most of you will know, being Thursday at 6. We're going to go on the car pass and we're going to check out these two new cars. So we're going to start with, quite rightly, the legendary Nsx-R GT. And we're going to go ahead and see what that car is all about. Hopefully it drives it quite a bit different to the normal NSX in terms of handling, etc. We can only have it in white. It's just such a mad looking thing. It's very advanced, you know, even for that sort of time it came out, to be honest. Just the aero on this and the body kit's pretty crazy. So we'll go ahead and do a bit of an exploded view. We'll do something a little bit different so you can see sort of what it looks like all around. Seats are quite nice, very nice. Yeah, you're going to have to excuse that thing popping up in the bottom. It's because every time this car pass comes out, for some reason I've got to re-download the car pass to actually get the cars. There's a really aggressive rear end to the Nsx-R, isn't it? It's very different to the normal NSX, but it does look nonetheless very cool. So yeah, we'll go out of here and we'll see what mods we can do to it. See if we can change the kit or do anything special. So it doesn't look like we can do a wide body or nothing, which is fine. We can only do the Forza. Actually, the Forza bumper on this doesn't look too bad. It's just got some canards and a tow hook. A little additional lip to the spoiler doesn't look all that bad. Right, so after quickly looking at that, we'll go out and drive it standard first. And then we'll come back, we'll upgrade it and see what it drives like then. So yeah, as it is standard, let's see what it sounds like, see if it sounds exactly the same. Which it does. We'll see what it drives like in comparison to the normal one. I'm quite surprised the looks inside don't look quite different. I feel like the grip's a little bit better already, to be honest. Oddly, it doesn't feel quite as fast. Oh, especially when you crash head on with a car. I just don't think they've quite done that sort of fin at the back there all that well. It just looks very, it almost looks like a big sticker. But after a quick little drive and a sound test, we'll go back to the garage, upgrade it, and we'll see what it's like then. Right, so we're back in upgrades. We're going to keep it naturally aspirated. We already know what you can and can't do visually. So we'll go ahead and we'll put some race tyres on. We'll widen the tyres. Keep the standard wheels because they do look smart. But you can widen the track width, which is pretty cool on this one. Upgrade the drivetrain, and then we'll go and check out and see what power we can give it NA. Give it a nice cage. So already in terms of weight, we're already down to 2,400 pounds, which for quite a big car is actually quite light. but the added downforce probably sponges all of that off. So fully upgraded, we managed to get it down to £2,442, 547 horsepower and almost 400 foot-pound of torque. Weight distribution of 44%. So we'll pay for all of that. We'll go to the tune, we'll lower it a little bit, and then we'll see how it sits outside. And as always, we'll go out again and see what this drives like. Oh, it is already as low as it will go. So this is how it will sit. Right, so we're outside. It doesn't really look that low, despite it being at its lowest setting. Doesn't have that much of a note change when you fully upgrade it, apart from the fact obviously cammed it revs a little bit higher. I can already feel the weight difference though. Cool. This handle's amazing for the upgraded. It's very playful, but it does go exactly where you want it to go. It's quite fun to drive actually, fully upgraded. It's not too leery, but it's not exactly tame. I reckon this would be quite a fun car to rag around mountains or even on Fortune Island. It's crazy that they're actually doing 200 miles an hour. It does stick really well, drives really nice to be honest. We'll give it a little bit of a launch and we'll see how it fares from a dig. So once you get sort of in second gear, halfway through the rev range, it does grip and it does just go. It's not the fastest thing in the world, I must say, but it gets there pretty quick. Sort of to 120 from say 30, that's pretty quick. Given that it has got 540 something horsepower, I think it was. Yeah, 547. Once you sort of get to 150, it does die down a little bit, though it is picking up reasonable still. I find this grip's a hell of a lot better when you're under acceleration and load, as opposed to sort of just feathering the throttle around the corner. But yeah, that is it for the Nsx-R. Overall it is actually, I feel like it handles much better than the standard NSX, or the older one you could say. But I mean really it's not all that different, apart from obviously visually it's very different. But in terms of driving, it's not all that different. It does handle a bit better. But yeah, quite a cool car. So moving on to the next car that's new in the car pass. I'm just going to call this the Mercedes SuperSport because the name is far too long. But I'm going to pick this sort of candy apple sort of looking colour. I prefer it a bit more to this raw red. It just looks, it suits the age of the vehicle a little bit more. So we're going to go for this colour. I can't imagine we're going to be able to do all that much to this, though it should still be quite funny to drive, I reckon. Right, so again, we'll have a quick exploded view. Oh, maybe you can't do explode anything on this. I thought maybe the top will open, or well, there isn't really any doors, but I'll sort of open. That you'd be able to open that. Oh, you can, but you have to do it manually. It's quite a beefy old engine, isn't it? It's crazy how small, how big, sorry, the older engines are, but small figures they produce. Just shows you nowadays you get like a Fiesta ST, it's 1.5 litre 3-cylinder, which produces, strangely, exactly the same horsepower as this. Don't think quite as much torque, but the horsepower it matches. And this is a 7 litre, which is pretty crazy. So again, we can't do nothing to the body, which is to be expected, to be honest. You can do the common swaps, though I haven't seen this swap in a car yet. I'm not too sure where that's from, but that could be quite a cool build in the future. I'm going to do a nice little drag splitter. Forza Wang, and then, well, these are quite cool. I mean, I don't really know what that is supposed to be, but it's cool nevertheless. I prefer it standard, to be honest. It looks a bit cleaner. We go for the old vintage race tyres. Though I don't think I'd go for wider tyres. Back in them days, you sort of get what you're given. But we'll go ahead and upgrade this. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty unbearable standard, so I'm not even really going to cover that. It actually drops really low when you put race suspension on it. Look. Boing. It's actually quite mad how low it is. Though again, I don't think back when this car was out, you're going to go, oh yeah, let's buy some BC Racing coilovers or something like that. But we do have the option in this game, so we're going to abuse it. You know what that is supposed to be? That's supposed to be a headrest. I imagine it's going to be headrest. I imagine it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. I mean, no one can now sit in the passenger seat unless you're going to be divided into two. But we'll do that because race car, and then we'll see how much power we can give this monster. It's gaining quite a lot of torque, but not so much horsepower. I'm sure every time I do one of these car pass videos, it's the only time I ever get messages and the only time my phone's ever on loud is when I'm recording, I'm sure of it. But yeah, 569 foot-pound of torque, 380 horsepower, and it actually doesn't weigh all that more than the Nsx do, which is quite crazy. So we're going to install that setup, go outside, and we'll see how funny this thing is to drive. And we'll see if we're giving it a different sound as well, rather than just copying it from something else. What we will do actually, for a laugh, I don't think you'll be able to, but see if we can lower it anymore. You can a little bit, not a lot, but it still does look pretty funny as it is, to be honest. Look at this. Well, this colour's actually quite cool. I have to see if I can recreate that on some older cars. It's very shiny though. Almost looks unrealistically shiny. It looks like anodised paint. Cool, what a monster! Literally does sound like I'm driving that big 8-wheeler thing from Spin Tyres. It's got a really weird sound to it. It almost sounds like it's got two sounds in one. Though where Forza have positioned the view for the cockpit, like the height, is terrible. The windscreen is pretty much in the way of you being able to see anything. Though it's alright when you're going uphill. Not so great when you're driving on flat ground. Now, if having this much torque and power is a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but it is an old engine, I suppose. Very sideways there. Cool, can we get this off the clock? Yeah! 125. Can I reach 140? Oh, I didn't realise there was another gear, so I just tried it and probably crunched it right up. Unless we jump off a cliff, guys, I don't think we're going to get 140. Though this hill looks promising. Come on! Yeah! Nearly 150. Oh god. This handles like a boat. Oh god, I just noticed, what on earth is that exhaust? It looks like a cowbell. Who needs one spare tyre when you can have two? But yeah, that is it for this video, guys. This thing is pretty funny to drive, though if you want it for any racing, I suggest you just buy something else. But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment anything you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and while I remember, and we did another video within the next couple days, I've found two very fast drag cars that are still around 500-600 horsepower. So if you're doing like a drag lobby or something like that, you're still going to be able to compete with that horsepower, because a lot of people have sort of caps 500-600 horsepower, so it's a bit more realistic. But these two cars I have found are absolutely crazy on like a roll or a drag race from the launch or anything like that. They're just mental. They're light, admittedly, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. You'll see in the video to come. But put it this way, one of them is what thing was it? Around 680 horsepower, I think, and it beat a Bugatti Chiron. So yeah, that says enough. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.